Hey, I'm Ryan, and this is my What to Wear app. What to Wear pulls live weather and suggests clothing that fits today's conditions. It's a responsive, accessible, single-page React app, now backed by my own Express and MongoDB API. On app mount, the app fetches weather and items and shows a brief loading overlay to avoid flashing UI. On top, there's a Fahrenheit Celsius toggle button, and below is a clean card grid for clothing items. What to Wear uses a two-step authentication and authorization flow. The sign-in endpoint returns a token, and the user's me endpoint returns the current user. Let's create a new account. Make sure you use a valid email format. Password's not strict. URL, make sure this is a valid URL format. If you don't have one in mind, you can just make something up like this. I live in Baltimore, so let's do that. All right. After registration, the app logs you in automatically, stores the JSON web token, and fetches your user profile. If I refresh, I remain logged in because we validate the stored token on startup. Here's the toggle button in action. I created a custom hook called use form that standardizes controlled inputs across all the modals. Items are created via the What to Wear API and are rendered immediately. So let's add an item. I've done a lot of testing here, so I'm not sure what these items are, but let's just try this one. All right, a scarf. Clicking on the item opens a modal with details. The modals are smooth and keyboard friendly for accessibility. The profile route is protected using a protected route wrapper component. If you try to visit it without a valid token, you'll be redirected to the home screen. What to Wear looks great on mobile devices as well, anywhere from 1440 pixel resolution to 375. And all the modals work on the modal as well. And you even have this little mobile toggle button. So pretty sweet. Um, let's take a look at some of the code. So we could take a high level overview look at my app component. Here I keep the global state like current user and authentication state, all the modals, temperature unit, and loading modals. It's all here in app. Um, these use state hooks manage app-wide UI and data like is logged in or current user. I use a combination of prop drilling and React context to pass state between the different components. And I have two context providers that wrap the entire app. One for the weather toggle and one for the current user. When the app mounts, I have a use effect that will check for a token and get the current user. Let's jump up here to my registration handler. Now, one challenge I faced was error handling across chained API calls. Like, for example, when you register and you're logged in automatically. After registering, login, that's a two-step process. The login, you issue a token, and then you fetch the user. So if anything fails along that chain of calls, you need to capture that and inform the user how to proceed. So my solution was to split the handler into sequential try-catch blocks. And if auto login fails, for example, the message would be account created, please log in. So as you can see here, I send a message, registration successful, logging you in, and we saw this demonstrated when I created an account. So if registration passes and login fails, then they'll get this message, account created, please log in. So just asks you to log in manually at that point. And let's go ahead and check out my files for the API calls. These are in my utils directory. And network calls are split by concern. So I have the weather API.js for the open weather API. I have API.js for app resources and various CRUD operations. Remove clothing item, add card like, remove card like. Then I have Auth.js for logging in, registering, and getting the current user. And then I even have Token.js that helps manage storing, reading, and removing the JWT that keeps components clean. This is my first React app, and as you'll see, I've added a lot of code in the notes. I've added a lot of notes in the code as I iterated through these triple 10 sprints, which really help a lot when I revisit all of this to try and understand my own code again. So that is the front end for What to Wear. It's live at whattowear.hosttogo.net, and the README has screenshots, more details, and a link to the backend API. So thanks for watching. Bye.